respectfully want to bring to start. So as you folks get settled in, please make sure you sign in if you're here in person. Those of you online, mahalo nui for joining us. Okay. Mahalo nui kako. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32, our regular monthly meeting. Today is Monday, April 13th. We will call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Myself, Chair Kimiona Kane, will be overseeing our meeting this evening. Want to welcome folks down here to the Waimānalo Public Library. We are at 41-1320 Kalaniana Ole Highway on the campus of Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School. We are in the meeting room of the public library. So if you folks are joining us online and want to join us here in person, please feel free to do so. We have a lot of things to go over today. So we have a very full agenda, so I'd like everyone to get settled as quickly as possible. The purpose of the Neighborhood Board and the Neighborhood Board plan is to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Rules for engagement this evening is very simple. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon online and raise your hand here in person. And when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. We want to hold on to the remarks being no more than 3 minutes unless specified. We do know that there's quite a bit of conversations that need to take place, and we want to give enough time for them in the right appropriate time, I should say. And so please note that as we have engagements this evening, ensuring that your microphone online is muted unless you are speaking. You can mute and unmute for those dialing in on the phone by pressing *6. For all speakers this evening, please state your first and last name for the record before moving into your comment or questions. This is going to happen for everybody that speaks, and it'll slow us down if you don't, because we're going to remind you to do so, and then we got to go backwards. So please try to do that ahead of time. Written testimony may also be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Commission Office website. We remind folks that this board has committed to aloha being a fundamental of the way we conduct ourselves. Akahai meaning kindness to be expressed with tenderness. Lokahi meaning unity to be expressed with harmony. Olu olu meaning agreeable to be expressed with pleasantness. Ha'aha'a meaning humility to be expressed with modesty. Ahonui meaning patience to be expressed with perseverance in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statutes, Chapter 5-7.5. We remind everyone that the items that are listed on the agenda, the board may take action on as required by the State Sunshine Law, HRS 92. Specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda, which doing so will require 9 of the 13 members on this board, 2/3 vote to add an item to the agenda. Please note that doing so is not permitted if 1, the item to be added is of reasonably major importance and/or the action on the item by the board will affect a significant number of persons. Determination of whether a specific matter may be added to the agenda or not must be done on a case-by-case basis. We remind folks to please silence your electronic devices, as well as the recognition that this meeting is being recorded. For board members online, and those that are going to be participating online, if you do come to a place of speaking, if you are able to open your camera, that would be super helpful so that everyone here in person can also see. And then for board members who are online, you need to open your cameras when we take any board action. So please be mindful of that. At this time, we are going to ask if there is a volunteer who would like to open our meeting up with Pule or Oli this evening. Typically, we invite someone from the public, like Auntie Luisa, perhaps.
Mom.
If you are so inclined, Auntie. No problem if no. Yeah, Hikino? Oh, okay.
Stand up for the camera.
Aloha mai kākou. To everyone that's here and those who are online.
Sorry. Mama, you gotta make sure that you say your name and then pull it for the camera. Okay, now I gotta go fix my hair too.
Alo mai kako. Let us begin. E puli kako. E mahalo, mahalo, mahalo e kia kua. As we gathered for our Waimānalo board number 32, with our chair and board and his members and the people that's present here and those who are online. I do not have a prayer right now, but I do have a song. Okay. If you know the words, join in. Uhola ia, aloha la. Uahi, aloha la. Ukai ia, hahala loa la. Hawaii me lehua. Michael, mahalo e ke ahua. Mahalo e ma e ia. Mahalo ke aloha la. Mahalo e me ke aloha la. Amene.
Thank you so much, Auntie. Members, mahalo nui for being here. To those that are joining us from the community, mahalo nui. If you haven't signed in, please do so on the sign-in sheet here. There are handouts as well available for anyone that wants to or needs to, or if you have something to drop off for the board or for the community, please feel free to do so there. Items that are here listed for handouts are also uploaded by our Neighborhood Commission Office clerk into the public accessible Google Drive, which is available to everybody with the link. So please go ahead and acknowledge those things as well there if you folks need to. We welcome everyone. And we are going to turn it over to Melissa for our roll call members. When your name is called, please announce your presence. Mahalo nui.
Thank you, Chair. Member Hoku Akana. Member Hoku Akana. I see.
Present.
Thank you. Member Kukui Akana. Not here. Member Kamahaloha Nuilai.
Present.
Thank you. Member Kamakea Ohelo. Not here at the moment. Chair Kane.
Ew.
Thank you. Member Makaila. Okay, not here at the moment. Member Maki.
Eu.
Thank you. Member Mokulehua.
Eu.
Thank you. Member Ni. Not here at the moment. Member Ralston.
Ew.
Thank you. Member Wong.
Eu.
Thank you. Chair, you have 7 members present, quorum established.
Mahalo nui, gang. Thank you so much. We're going to move on with the agenda. Olelo no ea of the month. Every month we share an olelo no ea from our Proverbs book as a way to just kind of reconnect. This month's is number 19. Ahulau ka pi'i i ka kanilua. A slaughter of pi'i at Kakanilua in the battle between Kahekili of Maui and Colonial Pu'u of Hawaii on the sand dunes of Wailuku, Maui. There was a great slaughter of Hawaii warriors who were called the pi'i. Any great slaughter might be compared to the slaughter of the pi'i. Again, number 19, Ahulau ka pi'i ka kanilua. At this point, we're going to move to our Lohe Ke Kupuna. Every month, we provide a space for any of our kupuna of the community to address us, to address the community, to share stories, to recall memories, or put something that they'd like to share briefly about. So we're going to open it up to any kupuna from our community who are here either in person or online. And I won't declare what defines a kupuna. So if you feel urged to speak and want to share a message with this community, please feel free to. Any volunteers in person? Any volunteers online? Okay, seeing none. The beautiful part about that is we have documentation also in another really, really good reference called Sites of Oahu, and that's where we read from in the event that our kupuna are unable to present with us here in person. So we're going to read from here, and we're going to talk about the burials at Bellows Field. This is Site 20, if you're referencing on page 244 in Sites of Oahu, and it references June 20th, 1952. Skeleton number 1, adult male, large, complete flex, face down, axis of body, west-southwest, forward head, exposed by bulldozer. Skeleton number 2, 15 yards from road, west of road, south 40 yards from number 1, pelvis up, head down, angle 45 degrees flexed. This note was taken from Oahu Archaeology and is available in reference here in Sites of Oahu. Again, another thing for us to just connect to and reference from, the reason why we do the work that we do today as documented in our history. So mahalo nui for everybody being here to participate in that. We're going to move on now with our emergency responders, starting first with our fire department folks. We have Captain Granado with us this evening. Captain, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me. I apologize. I just noticed that this is last month's report. Did you guys have a meeting last month, or you did have one? So I really just have the statistics from last month, unless nobody came. I don't know why they sent me this. But I'm going to give them to you anyway. For February, there was 1 brush fire, 3 activated alarms, 44 medical incidents, 3 motor vehicle collisions. All in all, that seems fairly light compared to what we normally see, so that was good for the month of February. The fire safety tip of the month is my favorite: smoke alarms, smoke detectors. They are so important, and we go into so many people's homes and see the batteries taken out or they're pulled off the ceilings. Please push that in your households. Smoke alarms save lives and are an important part of our home fire escape plan. Properly installed and maintained smoke alarms give occupants early warning to get outside quickly. Smoke alarms should be installed in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area like the hallway, and on each level of the home. Test them once a month by pushing the button and replace them when they're 10 years old or they start acting up, which we know they act up a lot, especially in the moisture. But please stay on top of those. It's kind of a humbug expense, but try to keep on top of them, get batteries, or just take them down and replace them entirely. It's very important. That's all I have for today. I will forward you any more information that I have from the month of March. I don't know why I got the wrong one.
We have the March here, the report for March. Is that the one you gave me?
Well, it says report for March, but it's incidents in February.
Oh, got it. Copy. Yeah, when we can get that, we can
Oh.
produce that up. Thank you so much, Captain. Members online, any questions for HFD? Any members present? Community online? And community present? Seeing none. Captain, thank you so much for
All right,
being here.
thank you.
Take care. Aloha. All right, gang, we're going to move on. We have HPD. Anyone here from HPD this evening? Hearing none, we're going to press on to ocean safety. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, guys. Sorry, I apologize for my voice. Voice kind of went out this weekend, but I'll do my best. My name is Peter Irwin. I'm acting lieutenant for District 2 East Side. As we all know, our primary zones for coverage are from Waimānalo Bay to Kaneohe Bay. Numbers just off the top for attendance and down the line. Our attendance for this month was 161,700 visiting our beaches. Our preventive actions were 15,223. First aids at all these are all numbers accumulated in our towers that are guarded. First aids, we had 3,082. And public contact, for us to make contact and communicate with them, whether they're trying to get them to be safe or discuss safer beaches for them, were 20,574. Other information, I got a pretty condensed list with a lot of information, so I'll try to keep it brief and simple. Water-wise, incidents, some of the major incidents that we've had a one-man canoe outside adrift of Flat Island where our rescue unit had to assist and bring them in. We've also had in the Kailua area, had multiple kayaks in distress. different days throughout the month. One involving 4 kids, and the parents had fell off and they needed help in, so they got brought in. Other things that are starting to increase is our foiling and kiteboarding community. We've been getting a lot of these calls of kiteboarders in distress or foilers in distress. We've had 3 outside China walls. They do the China walls run down to Waikiki, and that primary zone, we have to co-respond if they are in distress. I think we had 4 of those for that one. Let's see what else we had. We also, let's get into the medical part. For Sandy Beach, which we all know is a very high rate of broken necks and backs. This month, we've had 3 spinal injuries that all needed ambulance assistance. We also had a 42-year-old male with difficulty breathing, also transported to Castles. Had a few of these, and they're starting to increase with some altered mental status, passed out on the beach, but we're able to assist and get them transported to the proper area. Some random ones of just people coming up with big injuries on their face or legs. One incident is Kailua boat ramp. That's been a big problem with the moss on the ramp and the activity down there. Children and adult males are going down there. They're slipping, hitting their heads, and we're having to correspond and get there as soon as we can because it's very slippery and they hit their heads pretty hard. We're involved with HPD and HFD, as you guys know, but we're also responding with some of the law enforcement at our beaches. Sandy Beach, several car accidents behind the tower. I'm not going to get into the parking violations that we have down there all the time, which is getting really bad because it makes it hard for our emergency vehicles to get through. We've had, I think it says 2, but I was there for at least 4 fights at Sandy Beach. And with these fights becomes multiple injuries with other people getting involved. For instance, one of them was one person had pulled out a knife, threatening everyone. So we had to correspond with HFD and HPD to control the scene. Let's get into marine life. These are just things that we have to deal with on the daily too. We've had 4 monk seals come in at Sandy Beach. 3 of them there's 4 Alpha and 4 Bravo, shore break and a surf side. 4 on one side and 3 on the other side. Dealing with that is also a task in itself because we have to block off the area, make sure the public stays away. Everyone gets very curious. It gets to be quite the ordeal. Other than that, small things of just it's not necessarily a small thing, but it's an ongoing thing, is the showers that we've had, the new showers. I know it's a water conservation things, but they're constantly breaking. So we're having to call constantly because they're getting stuck on, and they're getting stuck on overnight also. Other than that, we've just had, as we all know, due to the weather, we've had Hanama Bay closed. And with that closure creates overflow onto other beaches. And that's happened 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Other than that, I'm gonna keep that pretty tight as much as I can.
Lieutenant, thank you so much for the report. Mahalo for your service.
Okay.
Members online, any questions for ocean safety?
This is Ted Kimi. I appreciate the lieutenant's information. That's a pretty inclusive set of information you had that made us all think, I think. One thought I had is that you have interesting statistics of attendance, which I never paid much attention to before. But as we start moving into higher amounts of people at the beaches that don't have facilities, we'll have to address waste and sewage at some point in time. So I just wonder if the numbers you have are reportable to the Parks Department, or does somebody else have access to them so they can begin to see these trends and get ahead of the problem?
Yeah. And from what I understand, they are shared and they are passed on because we do have, like we said, broken showers or other facility maintenance of broken toilets and stuff that we have to notify them when these things happen. And I'm almost sure that they're aware of these numbers going on also.
Thanks, Ted, for the question. Any other members online? Members present? None. Community online? Community present? Seeing none. Tenant, thank you so much for
Thank you guys
stepping
very
in.
much.
Mahalo for your
Have a good
service.
night. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, gang, we're gonna move on. Recognizing board member Lily as well as I think Cappy came on as well. Yeah, okay. So that brings us to 9 members present. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna move on to Board of Water Supply. Danielle. Thanks, Danny.
How's my audio? Can you hear me?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, yeah, I have to go through the phone. Having some issues. Anyway, hi, Danielle Yellis from Board of Water. And message from April. Is again we're detect the leak week. We have an event at Kahala Mall, April 18th, 11 to 1. This is an observance of
Sorry, Danny.
residents to
quick,
find and fix leaks.
Is your laptop mic? There's an echo on your side.
Yeah. Okay, hang on, yeah. Sorry.
Try mute your laptop.
Yes.
Perfect.
How's
Welcome
that?
back. Great.
I'm so sorry. Okay, and so we're doing Detect a Leak Week in observance of having our residents find and fix leaks that create water waste and also increase your utility bills. The most common household leak is a running toilet caused by a worn or faulty toilet flapper. We have dive tabs available at the Board of Water Lobby, City Mill, and at all satellite city halls. And then also, Board of Water also has water rebates, for toilets, washer machines, those that have the Water Smart logo. And then also a reminder, Board of Water impersonators are out there again. Just remember, all Board of Water personnel will have a green Board of Water car with their badge and ID. And if you ever hesitate, please call Board of Water at 748-5000. And there was one water main break in March on Kakaina Street. It was a 6-inch water main installed in 1954. And that is all I have. Any questions?
Danny, thank you so much for the updates. Mahalo nui for pushing through that. Members online, questions for
Thank you.
BWS? Hearing none. Members present? BWS?
Hi, this is Canella, Neighborhood Board at Large Treasurer. Danny, I wanted to double check, was the Board of Water Supply the one that was asked about the sewage connection in one of our meetings? Like there was
I don't believe so. That's
okay.
not us. Yeah, that should be ENV.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
Welcome.
Canela, is that specific to the sewage leak? No.
I believe it was a conversation of sewage fees is getting more expensive
Correct.
because of something that changed with a connection. But I
Yeah.
can't remember if that report was brought back to us.
It'll be on the mayor's report, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I think is what Melissa said. Yeah. Okay, members online? Hearing none. Any community members online? Community members present? Seeing none. Okay. Danny, thank you so much for your presentation. Mahalo for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move on to Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Director Thielen. Director, thank you so much for joining us. The time is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you great.
Hey, thank you. So there was a lot of questions last time, and I'll try and get through this report as efficiently as possible. First of all, I guess for the general information, the cleanup operations from the storm remain ongoing across Oahu. We had a lot of shelters opened up during the 3 Kona lows. The flooding that occurred in several communities, but especially in Wailua, and a significant number of dump trucks, heavy machinery, and dumpsters helping to remove the waste. A lot of that was taken up to Central Oahu Regional Park, where a contractor did sort the debris into green waste, recyclables, and things that could be taken to H-Power. All of that has been removed now, and the contractor is going to go through and test the soils and do the cleanups and the grass restoration at Central Oahu Regional Park. For people who still need to get rid of storm debris, the city's transfer stations and convenience centers are open daily from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And H-Power will accept commercial solid waste, as well as Waimānalo Gulch accepting residential construction debris such as dirt, rock, and concrete. City park facilities are continuing to support storm recovery operations, including freshwater distribution, food distribution, medical staging, operation centers, and emergency shelter services. Wailua District Park, Haleiwa Ali'i Beach Park, Bonsai Skate Park, George F. Wright Wahiwa District Park, Kaneohe District Park, Waimānalo District Park, Waikalua Neighborhood Park, Kualoa Regional Park remain closed, along with Hanauma Bay, Central Oahu Regional Park, Waipio Soccer Peninsula, and Hans L'Orange, due to the storm damage and the wet fields. But the rest of the parks and the botanical gardens are open. One highlight that's in Mayor Blangiardi's newsletter that I thought might be of really interest to the Waimānalo community, the emergency management paramedics did a class training for paramedics through the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center, because a lot of people out on the Leeward Coast cannot make it into Honolulu or one of the community colleges for classes. So they had, I think it was 9 people that were certified through this program to be able to work with the ambulance. And then they're going to be working for the city starting, I think, in a few months. They have to go through the final certification process. But seeing as the Waimānalo Health Center, Mary Oniha came over from the comprehensive, the Waianae Coast Center, there might be some possibilities in Waimānalo in the future. If it's something that the community is interested in, I'd be happy to work with the city and the Department of Emergency Services on that. Then on to some of the questions that came up at the last meeting. The question that the board member just raised about the billing for environmental services. I guess this is related to some instances where some people were, for some reason, not being billed and are being asked to pay for the back billing for environmental services. So we went back to ENV to get some more information. And what they said is, because this is very individual, specific, related to the specific customers, what they're asking is that the people would please call the customer service office. And I have the number, it's 808-768-3330. And that way they can work with the individuals on their specific issue. But in general, people do have to pay the back fees, even though the billing was incorrect at the time. The park signage update, there was a number of signs that were requested at Hunananiho. I forwarded to the chair of the board earlier today pictures of the signs, but they said that they're all up at Hunananiho now and in place. If for some reason we missed any of the ones that were requested, please let me know, and we'd be happy to go back and add those to the ones that were put in place. And then I have an update on the, sorry, let me just try and pull this up here, on the construction that's going on at Waimānalo Beach Park. So the Park Pavilion construction is ongoing. The CMU wall installation, reinforcement, and grouting has been completed. The stainless steel gutters have also been installed, along with the roof walkway siding and flashing is completed. The CMU beam structural steel installation has commenced, and the upcoming work includes the CMU beam pour, installation of the asphalt shingle roofing, painting, and electrical rough-in work. PICO coordination for electrical service is ongoing. The current construction progress is at 65%, and the current project completion date is anticipated to be later this summer. Let's see here. Other questions were HPD, the flashing blue light cameras at Makapu'u and Sandy Beach lookouts. And according to HPD, the blue lights are intended to be a visible deterrent to illegal activities and to show that the camera systems are active. The Honolulu Police Department will review the concern regarding flashing lights and assess whether modifications are appropriate. The camera systems are part of an ongoing deployment. HPD will provide an update on whether the structures are temporary or permanent, along with any applicable timeline once that information is determined. So they have not made a determination yet at this point. They did say that the cameras are used for law enforcement purposes. There may be some incidental capture of wildlife, but the systems are not intended or screened for wildlife monitoring, and any data sharing is subject to HPD policy and applicable laws. And then there was a follow-up question about the flood insurance premiums and the Climate Change Resiliency Office. Basically, it said that the city does not provide a local subsidy for flood insurance outside of the residents of Oahu being able to receive a 10% discount on their national flood insurance program insurance premiums due to the city's participation in the voluntary community rating system. So the community rating system is an incentive program for governments that encourages communities to perform floodplain management activities that exceed the minimum flood insurance requirements and provides participants with the discounted rates. So the city's currently rated as a Class 8 community and is continuously working towards improving the rating. So all Class 8 communities across the country receive that 10% premium discount. And it's applied towards the individual policies by the property owners, by the insurance providers. So they don't say whether it's possible to get a higher discount, but it is saying that the city is continuously working towards improving the rating and doing the flood mitigation work that it can to keep the rating in place. And I think that was all the questions that I had from last month. So I'd be happy to take any more questions or try to provide any further information.
Director, thank you so much for the report. We really appreciate the follow-up on the items. Members online, any questions for the Office of the Mayor?
Kimmy, this is Ted again.
Hey, Ted, and then Brenda to follow.
Appreciate very much the report on the reconstruction of the pavilion. I think everybody's happy to see that going up. Just one comment I would make. I keep watching on these things, and that construction was open to 2 of the 3 major Kona low storms. So everything got soaked in there, all the construction joints and everything. I just hope that the people are paying attention to that. You know, water and steel aren't good friends. So trust we have some kind of insurance or whatever to cover for premature deterioration that could occur. Just a comment.
Thank you, Ted. Director, I don't know if there's an answer in that or.
I don't know. I can ask DDC for some more information on how they handle those construction projects during the wet and when construction sites are open.
Yep, appreciate that.
Mahalo. Brenda?
Thank you, Director Thielen. I did notice some new signs, so thank you. We noticed the numbers of the campsites are in, and then also a couple of the general sites. I was there today, but I did notice that there are some signs that we requested that are not up. Should I just send you an update of which ones I see missing?
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I could do that. And then the second thing is, you know, when they had the flood a couple of weeks ago, and then at the place where Blanche's, the houseless people were living, I heard that they were taking the water that was flooded over there and driving up to the top of Waimānalo and dropping it back into the stream. So I don't know if you know about that.
I had not heard anything of that. I think there
I don't know
was.
if anyone else has heard that either, but I know I heard that. I was alarmed by that.
No, I think they did have some city trucks that were helping to pump water out of some areas, and also some State Department of Transportation trucks were doing that. I believe they were doing that at Auntie Blanche's. They were also doing it in various locations at Waimānalo. But they would have, the trucks would have pumped it and either contained it or, in some cases, I think, like when the reservoir was getting high on the Pully, they were taking it down the road, not back into the streams.
Okay, but I just heard that and I just was alarmed. So I just wanted to put it out there. I could, if I hear anything more, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members online? Poku?
Aloha.
Aloha?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I just wanted to follow up on a question about the sewage. I know that the question line originally, when one of our community members came up in the meeting, aside from having to pay what was originally not billed, which is understandable, I think there was some confusion and I guess some huikau about like if somebody could come and explain to the people in our community why the sewage bill hides within the Board of Water Supply bill, because the Board of Water Supply person cannot answer the question, and she shouldn't if that's not her purview. But can we get somebody here to talk about like what these rising costs of the sewage is going towards, so our members in our community have a clearer understanding of that?
Yeah, so I will try and get some information from ENV about the fees increases that were passed recently. I do know that for some reason historically, the sewer bill and the water bill have been combined, but they are going to be separating those. And so the billing is going to be separate. We can ask ENV to report back next month when that's going to actually begin. Because I think they're having to go through a whole process to set up a separate billing and mailing structure for that. So I'm not sure it's going to start, but we could get that question back to ENV.
Yeah, thank you. I just think it definitely would probably go over better with the people in the community when they get this really, really large sewage bill that's typically 3 times the water bill. And it hides within the water bill. So it doesn't make sense that it's on the same bill anymore. But
Okay.
thank you.
Sure.
I'll also note that ENV did present to the city months ago, and we do have some documentation in the online Google folder of their presentation work. So that might also be a good resource just to re-familiarize folks with. We can see if we can pull that out. Hoku can ask Melissa to take a look at that. You know, the scale, the rating, when they were going through the process of approving the increases, because it talks about how the things are broken down in that, I believe. Yeah, that presentation. Okay.
And I
Mahalo.
think there is some information there too about how people can save money on the bill as well.
Yeah, there definitely are some documents that were shared, so we can see if we can pull that up.
So I think the original question was why so big a bill, because this family and many other families had to pay the back bill, but then it raised the other question of, wait, where is all this money going to? So that was all part of the frustration on the mic. So just to call that out.
Mahalo. Okay, members present? For the mayor?
Oh, sorry. Aloha, my name is Kanala, Neighborhood Board at Large Treasurer. So first question is, will there be a fence built around the pavilion after the building of the pavilion?
I don't know. I don't think there are any plans to build a fence around the pavilion.
Okay. And then with what Brenda was sharing, does the city and county hire private trucks to pump sewage water? Or is NAN Incorporate a part of the city? Non
No,
incorporate?
non is a private company, I believe. No, the city, when, like for the work that we're doing now out in Wailua and the other work around the island for the flood impacted communities, it's mostly the Department of Facility Maintenance is going out in their trucks and doing pickup and cleaning and disposal. I think we also had environmental services, rubbish trucks and rear loaders going out there. And there may have been, I think Board of Water Supply was out as well. The Department of Transportation had a lot of trucks out there, as well as I think there were some private contractors under contract with the state that were helping with some of the clearing. And then certainly like a lot of the rockfall mitigation work that you see going on right now because of the landslides, is a lot of that's under state DOT contracts, because a lot of that's along the side of the highways. So out by Waimea, along the Pali, and some other locations. So you may have seen private trucks out there. I also know like out in Wailua, a lot of people were just going out as volunteers, private sector, public sector, whatever, just to go on out and help right after the flood immediately. So there were other trucks out there as well.
Thank you, Director. So just bringing it back to the Waimānalo community, this is more towards the Hui Mahiai Aina sewage pumping the flood water. What Brenda was sharing, we have community members I'll probably share later if you can hang on and listen to their concerns. But there's video of these non-ink trucks, city and county truck pumping sewage water, dropping it at the Waimānalo stream and also into city and county manholes. So we do have a group that will be sharing about flood quality, but what, or is there anything that the mayor can provide these community members on how to hold those private entities and businesses and developers accountable for what they've done during pumping out sewage floodwaters into the community's streams and not properly disposing the sewage water into like sewage containments, sewage facilities, because we don't want to set that precedent that that's allowed.
Yeah, yes. So I guess if there's information that people have, and especially if people have video from their phone and able to share that, then that's something that, we can pass along to investigators. And it's probably going to take a little bit of time to untangle, what was being done that was appropriate and what may have been done that was not appropriate, because there was a lot of appropriate cleanup going on too. But I think we just need to get information and then we can work on giving that to the right parties.
One more follow-up question, Care. Was the city and county aware of any of the pumping that was happening on Hui Mahiai Aina?
This is the first I've heard of it. I don't know whether it's been brought to the attention of like the Department of Environmental Services or any of the others. I have not heard of it.
Thank you, Director. I think, is it okay if members send the videos and information to your email?
Sure. Yeah, because I'm the mayor's representative, so I can get that off to the right parties.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Mahalo nui, thank you for that. Hoku, your hand is up again, Brenda.
Yes, my hand is up again. Director Thielen, I was very concerned when I heard that Hui, the house of Hui that's already in Waimānalo, Auntie Blanche's place, was flooded out. They had to put everybody in different places. I don't know where they went, shelters, whatever. But I know that there's the plan to build more houseless encampments right around there. So, and it's a flood zone. So wanted to bring that up to the city because we saw what happened in this first part that was already, maybe 100 people are living there. And I know there's plans to expand and it's all in the flood zone. So my concern as a resident of Waimānalo is all these houseless people are going to be brought into these places and then, floods and all that are out of our control. And then these places are going to get flooded out. Many people are probably not from Waimānalo. And then they're just going to be transients in our community So that's a big concern of mine. So I would like to ask the city to look more into the impact of Auntie Blanche's place and the floods. And if they're gonna build, like, I don't know what the numbers, but maybe 2 times the amount of housing, that you guys would consider looking at it and maybe going somewhere that is not a flood zone.
Okay, I will share that with the city houseless coordinator and the housing folks as well. And then also with the state, I believe that is on state land. And so I know that they have to be taking a look at it as well. I know there were some questions about whether that flood zone designation was appropriate or not, but I don't think that's a question anymore after these last storms. So you're raising some good points.
Okay, mahalo nui.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for that.
Chair, one more question, please.
Hold on one second, Canela. Are there any other community members online that want to question the mayor's office? Hearing none. Any community members present for the mayor's office? Okay, hold on one second. We have a Esther online. Esther, if you could address the department. And then it looks like we have someone here in person as well.
Aloha, my name
Aloha.
is S. Lafaele. I am a Waimānalo resident on Olu Street. I attended last month's meeting, and I was the one that brought up the concerns of the environmental services, the back charges. And I just wanted to give an update that from that last meeting, I still haven't gotten anything back from the E&V department. And I guess my concern was and still is, what is the department doing to minimize all these back charges that are being pushed over to residents? My back charge goes back 3 years. So I got slapped with a $4,000 bill. So I'm not the only community member. I'm told there are many. So I speak for the many others that are going through this issue. And it just seems like the ENV is just not reaching back out. I just want to know if there's anything being done to minimize these concerns. I keep being told they're short staffed. And there's some staffing issues there. That's no excuse for, many members that's suffering. And also, I just want to thank Thielen for bringing that to the mayor's office. And another concern was, I hear everyone talking about the pumping that's going on at Huimahi Aina. Auntie Blanche is directly behind my residence. And I just want to say that, yes, I have been seeing those nanning trucks going back and forth on my street 24 hours. It was going all day, all night. I couldn't get rest, and I'm sure there's many residents on my street that have been going through the same. So that's my concern for that. And that also back there, this isn't a new issue. It is a flood zone. And, those houseless people are in danger. They're being put in danger. So, I mean, there's got to be something looked more into on that property.
Mahalo, Esther. Thank you for the update. Mahalo for
Mahalo.
providing that. Yes, thank you. Director, I think there's some good data on both topics. Would be helpful to take a look at. Mahalo. Karen, for the office of Mayor Blangiardi.
Thank you. I'm Karen O'Mahony. 2 comments on what we've been talking about. One is actually a question. Where would you like people to send? It sounded like you weren't sure about the flood zone where Huimahi Aina is. So like from the 2018 flooding or other times that it's flooded, where would you like that information or videos sent? And Then regarding the trucks that were the septic pumping trucks that were pumping the septic tanks and the toilets and the water, I didn't see that myself. I didn't see the videos, but I did talk to a company that does do pumping, and they said that they can never put anything in their trucks that isn't then disposed of properly at a septic tank disposal. I don't know what the sites are called, but they can, even if it was like considered fresh water when it went into their truck, it is considered sewage water once it's in their truck because that's what's in their truck. So just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you, Karen. Okay, any other community members?
Chair, if I may, just to answer her question, I do
Yeah.
not need information about the 2018 flood zone. When I was saying that there had been some questions about whether that designation was appropriate, I know that that had been discussed prior years, but I think it's clear with the recent flooding that, the designation is appropriate. What I was saying for the information about the things that people witnessed about the pumping during this storm, if they feel that if anybody has film or information about pumping that they want to share, that I can get over to investigators and we can take a look at, what actually happened to get some information back, that can come to my email. So that would be laura.thielen@honolulu.gov, and it's LAURA, and Thielen's THIELEN @honolulu.gov.
Thank you, Director, for clarification. One more in person. Hi, aloha.
Aloha, o wau no puale la ni kamahuahua, kumu puale la ni kamahuahua. And for record, before I speak, I had been a kumu makaulela Hawaii on Auntie Blanche's mahi aiaina. And I moved back recently to Waimānalo, to my mama's place. My question and request is to expand, looking at the entirety of Oluolu Street. So where Auntie Blanche's residence is, it has expanded to new development all the way across to where my mama's house is on Alai'i. And so Auntie lives by the entrance, Mama lives at the exit, or what will be the exit. Our fences were taken down on the back end of our property, and in turn, a wall structure was built. And just to give context, this was with conversation. So it wasn't something where I'm coming here and be like, I never know. No, polole, hikino. We knew that there was going to be development. However, when the structure was built, the wall was built, there's drainage systems, circles where the water comes out of the ground from the wall, like you see any structure. But the drainage points into my mother's yard. And so directly into the yard. So walls, circles, drainage, water, mom's yard. I've spoken every single storm with the developers there, and they shared that those aren't drainages. There will be water that will not come out of that area. Now, if that's the case, then that's the case, and those are just decor. But if it's not, if we can look in on it, my expanding on the entirety of the street. And mind you, like I said, I was of support of anybody who needs a hale. And so, yeah, and my mother was a part of her papa mele, and teaching it. So as instructors there on that aina, we almost expected that the rest of the neighborhood be given malama as well. And so with that being said, if there's people that's coming to pump, whether private or of a public sector, why not look at the rest of the road? If there's people that are coming for outreach or community help, yes, we may not be in the same degree of life as those without a home that is living on that property. But however, there are many people where the water is still there, even though the water isn't there on the property of Hui Mahi Aina anymore. And so I'm glad there's non-ink people coming every single day. However, they're not going to uncle's house next door or auntie's house next door or mama's house next door. Actually, we still have water in the yard as I left. So if that's the case, please take that into consideration. And at this point, you know, like if we're still questioning sewage and where it went, chances are they're in mom's yard. You guys can check for yourself. All right, mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Thank you so much. Anyone else for the office of the mayor? Okay, Canela, your last comment, and then we're gonna move on.
Awesome. Canela Neighborhood Board at Large. Director, are you able, like, probably not now, next meeting, to bring like what is the city's involvement with Oluolu Street, the development, and what's happening in the TMK?
I can get some more information and I'll work with the neighborhood board people to figure out which groups in the city to send this to get an update on this. I know, as I mentioned, that this is state land that's managed by the Department of Land and Natural Resources. But I think the city may have some services and coordination, you know, with the state on that. So we can find out what the city's role is and then who to direct you to on the state level that might be able to help with anything that they're doing.
Thank you so much, Director.
Sure.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, mahalo nui. All right, gang, we appreciate the discussions there. Thank you so much, Director, for fielding questions, comments, and the responses, and to the community for raising them. We are going to ask that we move on to our next item. Director, thanks for being here. We are going to miss our conversation with Mr. Abe this month from the Department of Transportation. He sends his apologies and recognizes that if there are Department of Transportation related questions, comments, or concerns, if you would like to address them, please let me know and I can forward them to him. Anyone have any immediate concerns for the Department of Transportation? Members online? Community members online? Members present for DOT? Community members present for DOT?
I'll just say one thing, Kimmy, Ted here again. Keep sending Casey pictures of things that we see where there's deviations that are starting to show up. Certainly the Mackay side of the highway in the Nalo Street area has every evidence of needing attention. I suspect our problems are smaller than the problems in like Kahana and other places, but nevertheless, we need to keep the pressure on, keep the information flowing, because otherwise we're going to get surprised.
Noted. Thank you, Ted. I also bring up some of the ponding in front of Haleopuni and Waimānalo. As you make your way to the Kauhale area, there's some ponding on the Mackay side and then some drainage issues just past Inoa. So I'll convey those messages to Mr. Abe as well. Okay, seeing
Chair,
none. Sorry,
one
Canela,
question.
go ahead.
Could we ask Mr. Abe if Department of Transportation is working with Mahiai Development LLC with building the road behind Oluolu Street?
Noted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Or would it be in front of Oluolu Street? Yeah. Would it be
Malka or Makai of Oluolu?
Malka of Oluolu Street? Malka.
Great. Mahalo. All right, gang. We're going to press on. We have 2 vacancies on the board, 2 at-large positions. For those that are interested in, if you can make yourselves known, and we will have that discussion. So I know we have one this evening with Lourdes Milan. We do have a second vacancy. Are there any other interested candidates for this position, filling the board vacancy of at-large? Anyone online? Seeing none. Anyone here present? Seeing none. Just Lulu. Lulu, you want to share a little bit about yourself? And then if we can, a member can make a nomination. Come, Lulu. Come to the mic, introduce yourself. Lulu is, for those that are not aware, did serve on our board previously. And so we're just kind of bringing her back. But
my name is Lourdes Milan. I go by Lulu. I live in Mahiku. I did serve a couple of years. I had to take some time off.
Lulu, try come a little closer. There.
Better?
Yeah.
Sorry. A little nervous. Anyways, I'm coming back to help as much as I can with the community with anything I can do. So
Perfect. Thank you, Lulu. Members, we are looking for a nomination of Lourdes Milan for the position of at-large. Are there any nominations?
I so
Brenda
nominate.
Wong would like to nominate
Great, thank you.
Lulu.
That's done. Any other nominations for this position of at-large? Hearing none. Okay, so we are going to take a short recess to deliver some paperwork for Lulu, if you folks don't mind, maybe 2 or 3 minutes if we can. Bathroom break, stretch break. But Lulu, if you can come forward and provide your information, and then we have an oath of office to run, and then right after that, we can consider and go in that direction. So for folks that are joining us, we're going to take a short recess, if you don't mind. Thank you, gang. And for those that did come in a little late, if you folks can check in or sign in on that piece of paper there, that would be super helpful. If you want to get any of the agendas or meeting minutes, please do so. That's the best ways to communicate with us, aside from just calling or texting. And then there's a lot of documentation on the board as well for folks that might be interested in that. Okay. Mahalo, gang. If we can, just find our seats again. Appreciate everyone's time. We have a nomination on the floor for Lourdes Milan for the office, the position of at-large, the vacancy at-large. And so, members, it's been moved and seconded, essentially. We're going to take a roll call vote. If we can have members recite the last name of the individual, which is Milan, this evening as your vote. If you're in support of that, we'd appreciate that. I'll turn it over to Melissa for the roll call. Mahalo.
Thank you, Chair. Member Hoku Akana,
Milan. Mahalo.
Member Kukui Akana,
Mahalo.
Sorry, Kukui, can you unmute and try again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, but we only heard your mahalo. We didn't hear your vote.
Oh, Milan.
Mahalo.
Member Kamahalohon Nuilai.
Milan.
Thank
Mahalo.
you. Member Kamakea Ohelo, still not here. Chair Kane,
Milan.
thank you. Member Makaila,
Milan.
thank you. Member Maki,
Milan.
thank you. Member Mokulehua,
Milan. Milan. Mahalo.
Member Ni,
Milan.
Member Ralston, Member Ralston,
Ted, are you present?
Member Wong,
Milan.
Member Alston, one more time. No. 9 votes, Chair.
Okay, with 9 votes, that's a pass. So Lulu, mahalo nui for your service. Welcome back to the board. Members, mahalo nui. Again, we still have 1 vacancy available for the 13-member board. This puts us at 12. So there's still 1 vacancy available to any Waimānalo resident for this particular position. You did oath of office separate, or you want to do it live? Oath of office done. Okay. Lulu, you are welcome to join us here if you would like this evening, or sit in the audience as well. Up to you. Mahalo nui. Okay, seeing no other nominees for the second vacancy of at-large, we're gonna press on. We do have Kukuya Kana noted on at 7:40 p.m. That brings our total to 10 members present, if I counted correctly. We're gonna push on to education reports. Do we have anyone here from Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School? Hearing none. Blanche Pope Elementary? Hearing none. Malamahonua? Cappy, are you giving a presentation tonight?
No.
Okay. I know Denise texted me. I think she
Yeah.
did have something for tonight. Let me just check. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that report at the next meeting. Kula Kayapuni o Kailua?
Okay, that's me. Aloha kako. I am updating our community that we are developing Olelo Hawaii based career opportunities for our Kayapuni students to have internships in as they rise to 11th and 12th grade, hoping that they have a direct path into a career that they can serve Makololo Hawaii, since that is one of their shiny gifts. And we are in dire need of Olelo Hawaii kumu everywhere. So totally an advocate of grow our own in our own ahupua. That's it for now. Mahalo.
Noted. Thank you. Mahalo nui. I do see Principal Laboyan. Jill, do you want to share anything from Kailua High School at this time, or are we just listening tonight?
Oh, no, I just wanted to share, there was a question last month about having Kaiapuni continuing through the middle school. So I checked with the principal at Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School, and he said that he has acquired somebody, he has somebody lined up for 7th and 8th grade for next year for Kaiapuni. So we should be all set, but I spoke with our complex area superintendent also just to make sure that that's a priority, and we're going to figure out a way in case this person, something happens along the way, that we'll work on it to make sure that it happens, that those students are able to continue.
Recognize. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. I know it came up last month and I wasn't here for the presentations, but we do have there is a need for us to have a discussion, and I'm just wondering if we're still going to be able to have that discussion among some of the principals and the community advocates and Kumu with the Department of Ed. Are you aware of any scheduling that's taking place, or we're going to submit, I think, a recommendation via letter to pull that group together and have that kind of as a priority?
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay, got it. Well, I appreciate you being here. Mahalo for your service. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, gang, we're going to move on. Hui malamo ke kai. Hearing none. WCC, Wyndham Community College. Chancellor, thank you for being here.
Aloha mai kako. Thank you, Chair Kane, members of the neighborhood board. I have one major piece of news and one minor for this month. So the minor is we have Jade Pop Killas starting next weekend for our theater students. It's going to be really fun. There's tons of fight scenes. They've had to practice nonstop because of the danger of all the fight scenes. So that's at Paliku Theater. You can find it on our website. And it's for the next 2 weekends, starting the weekend after this one. And then the other is we have 3 slots remaining in our Halau Hikili Middle College. This is a high school collaboration with Kailua High School, where students are 2 days a week at Lua. So they're there for assemblies, they can do sports. They're 2 days a week on our college campus. So they're part of the college community for those 2 days. And they're a day of the week in community doing internships and service learning. By the end of high school, they'll have received a Hawaiian Knowledge Innovation Certificate from Windward, which includes business, computer skills, website design, social media, and also Hawaiian studies as a foundation for social entrepreneurship. If you're interested, if you have a relative whose child is moving from 8th grade up into high school, we want them in this program if they can benefit from a small learning environment that focuses on them, their community, and Hawaiian knowledge. They would be a great fit. There's no GPA required. We're really looking for students who love their community and love being a part of their community. Again, you just apply by applying to Kailua High School and checking off Palau Hikili as your preferred pathway. And that's everything. Thank you so much.
Chancellor, thank you so much for your service. Mahalo for being here. We're going to move on to CTAR, University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, and to Ilima.
Aloha nui kako kalamai. I feel like I haven't been here all year. But I just wanted to say that on May 2nd, we'll be having a Olena work day in the field, harvesting probably about 1,000 pounds of Olena from 10 a.m. till about 1 p.m. Lunch will be provided. If you're interested, please email us at lipu'u@hawaii.edu. That is a Saturday. There are other events going on as well, including Limuhui. I mean, if the rain stops. Not sure if anybody made an announcement, but I'd also like to share that the first Waimānalo Limu Festival will be taking place at the same time as the Kanikapila that is scheduled for April 25th at Waimānalo Beach Park. I feel like there's a lot I gotta share. There's been a lot of rainfall, so not too much business going on at the farm. We're trying to keep people safe. We've had a lot of damage. Kimi, I know that you guys went up to Puel the other day, so mahalo for that. Lots to share, but just wanted to give everybody a short update. We are also going to have a summer program with college opportunity, a couple of credits, and I'm taking 2 students that are, one's going to graduate from Kailua and one's an incoming senior, and Dr. Radovich is going to take a couple as well, and they'll earn CTAR credits in the summer, and we are trying to formulate a 3-year working college degree, which is a Bachelor of Science in Ag. But it's still a work in progress, and we'll keep you guys updated. That's it for me. Any questions?
Mahalo, Auntie. Thank you so much for all of that updates. Travel safely too, by the way.
Mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Recognizing Vice Chair Kuike at 8:13 brings our total to 12 now with Lulu. Yep, okay. Mahalo nui, thanks for being here. We're going to press on Hawaii Job Corps. Auntie Julie. Hearing none, we're going to move on to our community services reports with Waimānalo Health Center.
Aloha.
Hi, good
I'm
evening.
Jasmine Leputi. Thank you for having me. Just one quick share this month. We are still hiring, so if you'd like to join our Ohana, we have positions available across the health center. In outreach, in pharmacy, we have a new pharmacy technician position available, dental, medical, and our cultural health team. So if someone is job searching, please look at our website. I'll put that link in our chat. Mahalo.
Jasmine, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm checking. We have a question. When is the Olena harvest time and place? Auntie Lima, are you still on? If not, Kukui, we can get that to you. It typically happens up at Sitar, but I can get that information to you.
I think it
She
was May
said,
2nd, 10 to 1 or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. All right, we're moving on to Hawaiian Homestead. Anyone from the Homestead Association? No, you can come to the mic. Okay. All right, we're moving on. Bellows Air Force Station. Hearing none. Marine Corps Base, Hawaii, followed by Hawaii Army National Guard. Thank you for being here. Mahalo.
Hi, aloha. Christy Kalohiva, Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. Good evening, Chair, members of the board and community. Couple of updates. Wanted to share that the CO will be changing. We have the date set for May 21st. The new CO is already on island. The current CEO will continue on island. He will be moving over to Camp Smith, living still on MCBH, but he'll still be present in our community because he does love our community. Another item is that usually we close camping at the Bellows camping area during May through the ending of August. We're reviewing whether or not we're going to do that. Typically, it was based off of how many turtle nestings that we had seen. We're waiting for some data from our environmental department before we make that final decision. So I will hopefully have that information for next month for an update. And then for the most important thing, I wanted to update about all of our storm waters. So we did have individuals Saturday night monitoring the stream. Karen shared with me more concerns. So I will take some of those questions. Well, I take all those questions back to our engineers and people who have answers. I think we want to look at how they all flow together to come up with the best solution. So we're listening, we're hearing, we're staying in communication. Shared all the questions, and if there are any more questions and concerns, then I can take them back to, our project managers and our engineers, so as we collectively work that together. And that's all I have right now.
Mahalo. Thank you so much, Christy. Members online questions for Marine Corps Base? Hearing none. Members present? Community members online? And community members present. Chrissy, I know you've taken on quite a bit from this last flooding concerns. Can you just remind the community about the noise complaint line for military training? Because there is quite a bit of that's been taking place, as you know. And I just want to reiterate to the community who is the right and appropriate channels to communicate those concerns to.
There is a website that you can go to. It's a form that you can fill out. It has questions and a comment. I get them all. So it's coming straight to me, and we do have a report, and we do want to hear from the community what you're hearing and what you're witnessing. We just redid the whole website. Kimio and I will send you the link, and then I've actually asked them to make a QR code so that I can bring it to the neighborhood board, and you folks can take that and click it, and it'll take you straight to the form, so it's an easy access. But I will send you the link, and next month I'll have that QR code.
Mahalo, Chrissy. Thank you so much for your time. Anyone here from Hawaii Army National Guard? Hearing none. All right, we're going to move on. Noting 8:18 p.m., we still have quite a bit of agenda to move through. So again, let's try to keep our conversations as precise as possible as we move through. Do we have Micah with OHA on? Or anyone representing OHA and the discussion for legislative package this evening? Okay, hearing none, we're moving on. Department of Hawaiian Homeland's update on the Wong Farm Homestead project. Lily, is that okay? We're gonna turn it over to our, well, she's gonna change hats, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Mahalo, Lily. Thank you.
Okay, aloha nui kako. I think Trevor should be online. Is he able to share screen?
Yep.
Yeah, Trevor, can you share screen, please?
Yes.
And then for folks who are here in person, there's some copies. If we need additional copies, we can, I think it should be in the Google Drive for the neighborhood board, or you folks can always reach out and we can send you copies of this as well. Okay, mahalo, Trevor. So just wanted to introduce myself, taking off my neighborhood board papale. My name's Lily Makaila. I am a planner with DHHL's planning office, giving a short update about the proposed homesteading on 52 acres, most folks know as Wong's Farm. In this next slide, in this presentation, you can see the approximate location. The second slide has the map. Everyone familiar with that location? Yeah. Okay, next slide. So the proposed development, we did some beneficiary consultation. I believe it was in 2023, and talked to folks about different scenarios of doing that development. There are two primary factors in what type of development. One is there's always been a push for more subsistence or just agriculture in general, agricultural homesteading availability. In Waimānalo, there's currently 3 subsistence ag lots and 683 residential lots. So a huge percentage of the homesteads, majority of all the homesteads in Waimānalo are residential lots. Part of the update to the regional plan said as a priority project for DHHL to put more subsistence agricultural homesteads in Waimānalo. However, the balance to that is that there's still what's called a Waimānalo area waitlist. Area waitlists prior to 1978, you couldn't sign up for an island-wide waitlist. The waitlist was specific locations, including Oahu. You would have had like Nanakuli, Papakolea, Waimānalo. Waimānalo is the longest area waitlist of every area waitlist in the entire Pai'aina. Over 500 residential homesteaders on that waitlist. So for that reason, in the discussions when we did beneficiary consultation, even though we want to see more agriculture, there's this huge push to malama, at least those 500 that have all been waiting. They've been on the wait list since prior to 1978. Some of the earliest ones since the 1950s. And so trying to find that balance, what folks decided on was 60% of the parcel would be residential homesteading, 40% of the parcel subsistence agricultural homesteading. What that looks like is about 130 residential lots and about 30 residential subsistence ag lots. Is it enough? No, not even close to it. So more homesteading demand in Waimānalo than we have available space. In addition to the actual homesteading development, we have to do additional infrastructure. So all of the roadways, sewer upgrades, what's going to happen with water, what's going to happen with sewer, et cetera, et cetera. Next slide. The reason why we're here tonight is to talk about environmental assessments. I think Waimānalo as a community is pretty ma'a to environmental assessments and participation. Mahalo to folks who participated in previous consultation. Some of you in this room are a part of it. You may see your comments up here that you've shared with us previously. So part of the EA process, environmental assessment process, technical studies are prepared. That's where we have folks going out onto the Aina and preparing the different technical studies. I'll cover what we have for this area on the next slide. And we also do what's called early consultation. Early consultation is so that we're going out and giving folks an opportunity to ask questions and ask for clarification on things so that it can be folded into the EA and the technical reports. For the timeline for this, once we do technical studies and early consultation, then we start building the environmental assessment. There will be multiple opportunities for input. The draft environmental assessment goes before the Hawaiian Homes Commission. It's for information only, not for action, but it's agendized. We follow sunshine law. Folks can comment. You can testify. In addition to that, we publish in the environmental notice. There's a 30-day public comment period attached to that. After that, all of the comments and questions that come in for the draft EA have to be addressed in some way and folded into the final environmental assessment. That has to go back to the Hawaiian Homes Commission. Hawaiian Homes Commission is the accepting authority. So they actually issue whether it has a finding of no significant impact or not. When we do that, again, it's agendized, sunshine law, opportunities for comment and testimony. And then secondly, after they take action, it's published again in the environmental notice for a 30-day legal challenge period. So those are kind of the nexus with opportunities for public input. Next slide. For the technical studies, cultural impact assessment and Kapa'akai framework analysis. Kapa'akai framework analysis is becoming more and more, I think, common, but it hasn't been for a really long time. Kapa'akai framework analysis came about in after Supreme Court rulings in 2000. So we have been beholden to completing Kapa'akai framework analysis, but most agencies have not been really good at preparing those reports. Kapa'akai framework analysis, as well as cultural impact assessment, that's where you get more significant consultation, lineal descendants, cultural descendants, kama'aina informants, generational residents, ahupua'a tenants, that type of thing. So those are very critical. In addition to that, we do what's called an LRFI, archaeological literature review and field inspection, which includes like a pedestrian survey. We look for historic sites and historic properties and features, biological survey, flora and fauna, traffic impact analysis, and then what's called a phase 1 environmental site assessment. That one's mostly looking for pollutants or things that need remediation. Next slide. For consultation, we sent out previous consultation letters based on the scope of the studies that we were doing at that time. We have since revised, so apologies in advance. We will be bothering you again with a new set of consultation letters. Better to over-consult than under-consult. Previously sent in 2023. The next slide, I'm going to share some of the mana'o that we've gotten. We're going to be doing new consultation letters. Our current consultant is Lim Tiako. That's Trevor guys that are online. Next slide. So I'm gonna quickly read through some of the comments that we've gotten thus far. Restore watershed and provide ag water, ahupua'a and stream restoration, proper drainage plans, kilo the uplands for impacts below, prepare for iwi kupuna discoveries, archaeological monitors during ground disturbance, design for the complexities of multi-generational households, design with lots of native, medicinal, and food plants, design resilient homes and homesteads, faster options for permitting, prepare services and resources to support homesteads, family support, technology and education for kupuna, etc. Facilities and open spaces for keiki, ag support infrastructure for ag lots, resources and support for ag lessees, Aina workdays, address traffic impacts from increased homesteading, expand cultural and community spaces. Next slide. So this shows the previous scope Previously, they contemplated that area in the red plus the area in the blue. That's the area where it's most of the stables off Waikupanaha. That area, when we did our initial technical studies, would be very, very challenging to homestead in that area. That's somewhat controversial. Some folks didn't appreciate that determination. They wanted to see homesteading specifically in that area. I think because it was adjacent to the quarry and kind of a lot of the action in that area, what we found when we did our initial studies was that the soil probably would need a lot of remediation. There are a lot of pollutants. There's a lot of things just like in the soil that would need to be cleaned up. And so does it close the door on it indefinitely? No. But our challenge right now is to figure out where can we homestead, and looking at kind of the areas that are more suitable for homesteading. So in the future, maybe when there's more funding or more technology or more capacity to deal with remediation, it doesn't fully close the door just for now. Next slide. Almost pow. So for this one, this shows the current project scope. So I did want to draw attention to one thing, that yellow area, that's a proposed extension of Ilahole. So that was a part of the regional planning that was done within the homesteads. You know, this is part of what we're contemplating. I think a lot of folks would be interested in seeing that extension there, especially because most of us who were here during one of the recent Konalos, the highway was closed, and over by the sewage plant to Oluolu was closed. I'm not 100% certain that this would be a full bypass because there's really low spots along Hihimanu, but it would give an additional option. So it's something that we're kind of doing the technical studies on right now and should have more information as we proceed with the EA. What you see here as far as the explanation is the same that I shared in an earlier slide, 60% residential, 40% subsistence. I think the only thing to note is this current chair and administration are pursuing a process called project leases. It's not a new process. It's been called kuhio leases, paper leases, undivided interest leases. But basically from the timeline of when you know about how many lots to when you're finished with infrastructure and people can pick their lot can be between 2 and 7 years on average. And because a lot of our homesteaders are in kupuna years, we are getting lots of pressure to move faster to get folks off the application wait list and into a lease, even if it would be a paper lease. The paper lease means it holds your spot to choose your lot, but paper leases allow you to pass it down the same way that you would pass down a regular lot. It's also very, very controversial. We get a lot of mixed reviews on it, but it's one kind of mechanism that's being used to address the loss of our kupuna and the fact that folks are aging and it's taking too long. Next slide. Contact information. I put Trevor's contact information. Thanks, Trevor. So that's Trevor's contact information. I think my information is available though under my neighborhood board papale, and just wanted to open it up for any questions.
Lily, mahalo nui for running through that very important context. Trevor, thank you so much for following along online. This item is not listed as a full discussion, but we'll take a few questions if there are any, just so that the team can process and figure out ways for us to consider discussions in the future. Obviously, anything that we would want to do as a neighborhood board wants to be inclusive of the community's voices, and we want to encourage community to submit your comments, concerns to Trevor and to the consulting group and or to the neighborhood board so we can follow them through to Trevor for a discussion. That's the main thing, is we want people to be informed so that they can make decisions on contemplating what they want to do. With that being said, Moyata, you have a question?
I do have a question. Well, first I would like to say mahalo for that presentation. That is amazing. I do think that is great that we are looking to expanding the Hawaiian homelands here in Waimānalo. I do want to ask though, if you could take a note back to DHL, because our neighborhood sent a letter in August of 2025. And I've just been waiting for a DHL rep to come on just to ask to follow up on it. I'm not sure who to contact about that anymore, but since you guys are here, I was just wondering if you could take that back to the office and just see if there's any follow-up on that.
Thanks, Lily.
Yeah, thank you for that. I can drop my Hawaii.gov email in the chat box, and you guys are welcome to contact me directly.
Thank you so much.
Mahalo Moyata. Any other members online? Seeing none. Members present? Community online? Seeing none. Community members present? Okay. Again, we invite, Mahalo, Uncle, come. We invite folks to participate in the process. These conversations are meant to gather feedback. We also recognize that sometimes our feedback is just documented and sometimes the decisions don't match what our feedback is, but that's okay. We got to fight that system too, and doing so by showing up is important. Hi, Uncle. Aloha.
Hello, board. Hello to my community. Just give one comment, I guess, about cultural sites. That particular area we're talking about used to be, most of us who live Waimānalo long enough know what was called Pu'u o Molokai. And I think that's a significant thing that needs to be included in the conversation. Otherwise, it's going to get lost, you know. And that's what I see happening. We're going to lose them if we don't at least keep the thing alive. And the story can, you know, bring the community more better, bring them together, yeah? I think that would be my concern or comment to use is.
Mahalo, Uncle. Thank you. I can confirm that Pu'o Molokai as well as other cultural sites were recognized, Uncle, to Malama and to be aware of, as well as some additional cultural resources that we did put before. Yeah, so mahalo for sharing that. There's a question online, clarifying question. Paper lease gets elderly waitlisters off the list and to pick a lot.
Paper lease gets you off the wait list. It gives you a number and order to pick once the lot is prepared. So it saves you your lease for a certain project. And then whomever has the lease, whether it's you or whomever you transfer it to, once the lots are ready, then you're able to pick.
Mahalo for that. I might have stepped out when this was covered, Lily, but is there a timeline that we need to be working off of that was identified?
I held the consultation letters until we did the neighborhood board briefing.
Copy.
So, Trevor, can you chime in on when we're going to be doing mailing and what the timeline is going to be?
Yes, so we're finalizing the letters that are going to be going out and expect to send it out within the next month or so. So expect to see that in the mail for people that we have currently on the contact list. I believe the neighborhood board was scheduled to receive another consultation letter.
Correct. And then if anyone would like to add themselves to the list, feel free to contact Trevor. We can add you to the consultation list.
Mahalo. And for members of the community that might be a little concerned about how to proceed and submit your comments, if you have questions or concerns about that, please ask us so we can help you. Yeah, we're definitely available to help you navigate technology or any of those things that might become a barrier or a reason why some of our community doesn't choose to participate in the process. But it really, really matters. And your voice is really, really important. So if you find yourself struggling and you just don't know what to do, please ask. We're more than available to help. Okay. Trevor, Lily, go ahead.
Trevor, can you drop your email and my email into the chat box so folks online are easily able to grab it?
Thank you. And then I saw one and Auntie Louise, if you can come to the mic. Thank you. Just introduce yourself.
Aloha, my name is Louisa Ke'ave. I'm a resident of Waimānalo. And mahalo nui loa to our Waimānalo board members here and chair. Okay, so this would be a concern because truthfully I'm lost. I'm lost in this Hawaiian homes, on the list. And okay, my case, I didn't do follow-up since 2010. Okay, so on Oahu, and then I relocated to the Big Island, which I learned you would go on the bottom of the list. And then now I'm returning back to Oahu. I'm going to be on the bottom of the list again. So I don't know where to start or to be helped with this. And, with this information I just found out about the agriculture and the residential, I would really be interested. But it seems like I don't know how many years it's going to be if there's, a chance that I can be able to be helped in that sense. So will it be you I can talk to after, or Trevor?
Right
Okay.
there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Auntie Luisa. Mahalo for sharing. All right, gang, we're going to press on. Mahalo, Lily. Mahalo, Trevor, again, for that information. There is information in the chat for those participating online. And again, if you have any questions around it, please, please, please ask so we can help direct. We're going to move on to, we have Mia Lisa with floodwater and quality concerns, followed by, is Miley here tonight or is anyone representing Kikula? Okay. So we'll just have a question on that afterwards. But yeah, Mia, thank you.
I'm here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Aloha, my name is Mia Lisa. I'm representing Pono Oluolu. I'm advocating for flood control on Oluolu Street, specifically the illegal dumping into surface water and unpermitted building of a wall that flooded residents. This flood is a result of the project on TMK 41-008-008. This is our third consultation meeting with Oluolu residents, and we wanted to share this crisis with the larger community. Panella has been researching this problem for 11 years, and I recognize that Kona lows are our new normal, just like king tides, and we need to adjust and prepare for the extra wind and rain. But on March 24, Kanani Gramberg alerted me and Tracy Parker of pump trucks from Non-Inc. pumping flood water, as you heard before, from Hui Mahi Aina and driving up Pihimanu Street by Cook's Ranch and dumping it through bushes into Inoa'ole Stream. They also broke a water pipe while doing so. The pumping and dumping continued day and night for a few days throughout the two Kona low storms. The soil and water need to be tested. During COVID, when the government was shut down, we have documentation of people burying trash with dirt and putting in septic before the Department of Health came to inspect. The concern is the sediment or contaminants that were dumped contain spill of heavy machinery, septic, porta potties, and dangerous chemicals. This project encroached on Uncle Reggie's agriculture land, which Kanani Gramberg stewards. They illegally changed the plan from a 30-foot wide road to a 40-foot road so that the housing below can be illegally transferred to the new site. They destroyed 25 fruiting papayas and an avocado tree. The road marking currently is on the path of taking out ulu trees. Residents on the Maka side of Oluolu have been suffering from flooding. They built a 4-foot wall, which we all know of, and that will be a road. All that is holding up the sediment is a 6-inch wide wall. There are drainage holes in the wall, and the water for decades has flowed from Oluolu Street through the yards towards U'omoloka'i into a ditch that flows naturally into Inoa'ole Stream. Now the floodwater has nowhere to go, and the yards are being inundated with water pooling from Mauka and Makai. The original plan was to have the road further set east to Kula'iwi Street. The residents were not consulted on the road and wall being built. There was no EA, EIS, AIS, or geotechnical survey. I saw them working today with something that was making a lot of banging noise that looked like a drill. And there needs to be an archaeologist or cultural monitor when going 18 inches or more. There were no BMPs, and the workers did not meet PPE standards. We want safety for all, especially of our land and water. Will the sheltered residents have to evacuate during every storm? It's one of those situations where they ask for forgiveness rather than ask for permission. Without forgiveness, life is governed by an endless cycle of retaliation and resentment. There needs to be less harm and more healing to the Aina. How will this affect Pu'u Moloka'i? And what would the kupuna do? Mahiai LLC's plan is not sustainable. The community needs to be made aware that this sets a precedent for development in Waimānalo. This will give the green light for developers to build out our infrastructure and expand our roads. We have to keep Waimānalo country. This project needs to be halted and remediated to its original sea level so the water flows naturally. Mahalo.
Mia, thank you so much for the concerns and for the work you folks are documenting. It's really appreciated. I guess the question at this point is you folks have communicated to the city, right? Mia, sorry, can you come back up? You've communicated to the city earlier. So Director Thielen, Kenani, some of that information has been forwarded already, the photos and some of the videos, but please make sure we get that to Director Thielen for the appropriateness and follow-up from ENV. And then I think Kanala, you have experience at DLNR, right? We went through this at DLNR and the DLNR board. So I think it's time perhaps to raise that there. If you folks decide that you want this board to facilitate something, it needs to be drafted so that we know what you guys want to do. And then we can bring that before the board and figure out what kind of action we need to take. Yeah. For the record, the board does support the project work as it was intended to be and as it was disclosed prior, right? Whatever changes we're not aware of. So we have to be mindful of that as well. And that's kind of the status of where the board sits, right? Supporting the housing of our people that need it in the right way. We do know that we did go on record at the DLNR meeting in opposition because of commitments that were made by a previous administration director that essentially lied to this community. And that was worked on and we called that out and that was addressed prior. So that's kind of where we sit today. But anything that you folks see that's a need for the board to step into needs to be redrafted for the board to take any kind of action on. Is that
Yeah,
clear? Okay.
makes sense. I just wanted for transparency,
Yep.
like who we've contacted is Lisa Martin, Board of Water Supply, Earth Justice, Sierra Club, DLNR, Department of Ag, OHA, UH, and we're on the DHHL agenda. We want to have more conversation with the city and EPA fellows, and we're going to be working with FEMA.
Okay. Copy.
Just wanted to make a quick comment. Have you guys contacted Department of Health Clean Water Branch?
Yes.
Did they say they were going to investigate?
No.
Okay, because they are responsible for enforcement of pollutants that are dumped into surface water areas. So technically it would fall under state purview. And then I think it's great that Director Thielen is going to be looking into it more, but she's county and county isn't able to tell state what to do. And the part of the onus, which I know you folks are most folks are very educated in, this was approved, yes, through BLNR, but the governor gave an executive order in 2023, which removed all of the requirements to do compliance with Chapter 343 and Chapter 6E.
They're also, sorry, go ahead. They're implementing or saying that they're using the
Who's they, Mia?
the developer and I think the architect and the state in general. Yeah, go ahead.
Chair, can I comment?
Sure.
Out of a neighborhood board seat?
Sure.
Okay.
As a resident? Okay. So I want to also note that, you know, we again, these items are not listed as agenda items. So we're not going to go into full action unless it becomes an agenda item. Okay.
Yes. Aloha mai kako. My name is Kanala Kamahalanilai. I stand here as a 29-year resident of homelessness. My mom is in the 50 years of Hawaii and the first ever homeless encampment in A'ala Park. So I am a product of a lot of the social services that everyone tries to utilize and identify that don't really work, but sometimes work. I'm here because residents have reached out to me. I've been a part of this conversation since 2013 because I was homeless with Auntie Vina at Waimānalo Beach Park when James Koshiba and everyone came about. I was there in 2015 when they proposed this project. was there in 2018 in this very room with Auntie Lima as I was getting my bachelor's degree when they proposed a project again, sharing to move the Waimānalo Residency Challenge community, which is my community I identify with, to not Auntie Blanche, to TMK 41008, which all of the residents and the Waimānalo Challenge shared that they are, it's a flood zone. They don't want to move there. It is inappropriate. And that was just a right of entry. So forward to 2024, where we caught wind that a right of entry was going to happen at BLNR, and Kimiana voiced that we did not have the dual process, so DUE process, and community transparency commitment. So we don't want assumptions. We like questions, solutions, and pathways. Prior administration did lie to our community, saying they will remove it off the agenda, which they did not. They did profusely apologize to us at Hui Mahiai Aina on November 13th, 2004, saying, sorry, community, we said we was going to take it off, but we didn't. But in BLNR's policy, you have to be present by the ending of the meeting to contest the case to any of the leases. So we were not present to do so. So they do have that on us. Fast forward to 2026, February 13th, this year, 2 months ago, a direct lease was just given to Mahiai Developer LLC, whose sole member is the AIO Foundation, who executive director is Dwayne Carrizo. That's my research. I've been a part of this for a very long time. So a lot of the community came to me, asked me for it. Auntie Lima is my mentor, and she told me, be the voice. So here I am. Mia made a Pono Olu group, where it is meant to be the voice and the research and be a part of the tables and the conversation that there are residents that are not willing to do so. So that's what Honolulu is. It's just to be a community-based voice for those who suffer from retaliation, intimidation, or just the lack of knowledge. That's what our goal is for this. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes. We were able to sit with Dwayne Carrizo, Dexter, Lloyd, all of the developer, all the archaeologists, and Lisa Martin to walk through the Aina yesterday. We had a lot of the community members voice their concerns to share. This is bigger than the 3 acres that you are working with. So the developers are sharing, and Dwayne Carrizo are sharing that they're going to try to go back to DPP because they are working with state agencies with trying to map the build. Yes, the Whipple hose was happening, draining. Yes, they are encroaching on the land. There's a lot of goals that the Pono Olu would like to do, and it's more of clarity, who to hold accountable and who's involved in the conversation, because there was so much overlapping and so much time that had passed that a lot of the conversation and the story was lost. So we're just trying to bring those that weren't a part of the conversation or wasn't there at the table to come forward. So Dwayne Carrizo and their team is working with Pono Olu to bring the conversation back. We're not sure if it's going to stop. We asked the question to Lisa Martin, will you guys stop this project? There is no yes or no. So as it's going forward, it's probably going to continue. It was sort of made very straightforward that every individual resident there that is impacted would have to take their own step, which hopefully Pono Olu can provide resources and connections to those that can help support them in that pathway of taking whichever path each individual impacted resident have.
Mahalo.
That's for right now. And then on April 21st, we will be at DHHL because we are beneficiary of Ololu Street. And we did make it very strong, well known to Dwayne and his team and Lisa Martin that that is royal ceded land, which the Land Commission word does go on to Luna Lilo and other more individuals. And also every time the state utilize DHHL or like Native Hawaiian lands, there should be some type of restitution or some type of benefit that would help the beneficiaries that are there around that community. So we're still in conversation. Mia, if you guys would like to be a part of a poll, let Mia know. We're gonna ask you guys if you guys want us to be a 501c3, a grassroots. What else would you guys like from Pono Olu? Yeah, that's our goal.
Mahalo. Thank you so much. So again,
Chair,
yeah, Kuike, go ahead.
Kalamaya. But I just have a comment um, for Mia Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, mahalo. Just want to mahalo, our community for their for being vigilant, and being in our community. And I just want to mahalo Lily as well for that comment about the emergency proclamation. So I just want to share a little bit more facts about the emergency proc. Generally, emergency proclamations only last about 60 days. So when a governor or when an authority declares an emergency and then issues a proclamation, it automatically sunsets 60 days. So unless there's an extension of that emergency proc, yeah, whatever was approved within that 60 days holds, but whatever construction that occurs beyond that, right, must still abide by all of the rules and laws of the land. So I just want to make a comment for Mia Lisa folks. Always challenge, always question and document and date everything, because I'm confident that today the emergency proclamation does not stand. So if there's any work that's outside of the scope that was approved within that window, the 60-day window, you must challenge it. And so I just wanted to jump on here and say that. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Kuike.
Kui got cut off.
Sorry, Chair. Come again?
You got cut off on the last part.
Oh, I just wanted to just mahalo everyone and always challenge the emergency proclamations because they sunset within 60 days of issuing if it's not withdrawn earlier.
Copy. Mahalo. All right, we're gonna take this last hand and then we do need to move on. Hoku, you have something relevant to this discussion?
Hi, mahalo. Just a clarifying question for board member Kamahalo Nui Eli. I was just wondering, so there is that part where you mentioned that each individual on Olu Olu Street needs to address it individually. They can't come, they're not allowed to come together into a class action or something like that since it impacts a group.
So the way it was it's written with the emergency proclamation in the statement, it says that under the emergency proclamation, we are not allowed to sue in order to allow the emergency proclamation to be enforced. So in 2024, I shared that the due process to make this development eligible was not eligible because they didn't go to the community for the community engagement, which should have voided the emergency proclamation. But I have to see when did that part of the emergency proclamation that said we are not allowed to sue. So from where I'm still assuming Lisa did try to separate each neighbor to their own individual problem. That's how come we're hoping Pono Olu Olu will be a safe space for the unity to happen. But they could do a class action lawsuit, but it also depends what kind of lawsuit they would like to do. Because each neighbor resident has a lot of different immediate issues, injury impacts. So it just depends on how the community would like to go forward. In 2024, I should say this. I did the contested case. I got denied. I did the civil suit, the environmental suit, the district suit. But because I am not a resident or immediately impact, there was no suit to hold standing on. So I believe today my goal is to allow the research and what was precedent back then to continue to hold officials and individuals accountable, because a lot of the residents don't know what happened in 2015, 18, 2020, 2023, 24, 25. So it's a space where we can just provide advocacy for them. But they could, it just depends on what kind of class action lawsuit they would like to do. But we're also going to try to defer to DHHL to see
as beneficiary because DHHL is a state agency with DLNR state agency, so they hold the same platform, and hopefully they can help support the residents of Olo Street. I'll be talking in that one too, April 21st. Y'all want to come?
Mahalo. Thank you for the discussion there,
Yes,
gang.
mahalo.
Okay, thanks for the question. It is 8:59. We have a considerable amount of things to go over, so I'm going to ask us to close this discussion and move on. If this wants to come before the board in a more organized way in May, please let us know so we can agendize it properly, and we'll do so. Okay, we're going to move on. Miley, I have you listed here under community concerns, but we also have a board business recognizing the support of a letter from the board to specific entities regarding the concerns mentioned and some of the solutions and plans. Is there an update from you folks, or do we want to wait till our board business for that? This is for the Kayapuni. Sorry, we cannot hear you, Maile.
Aloha.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
so aloha. My name's Maile. I am a makua of Kekula, Kaiapuni, o Waimānalo. I have a keiki there. I came to last month's meeting asking for some kokua in regards to our keiki in 6th grade who will be moving on into intermediate. Lisa Martin was kind enough to point us in the right direction and reach out to Superintendent Hibbs, Linnell, and she was kind enough to email us back just to say that they are in the works with Po'okumu at Waimānalo Elementary Intermediate. And yeah, so we're hoping to, I just emailed them a couple of days ago just to follow up on that. So we're hoping to hear back from them soon. We are just concerned just so our keiki can, if allowed to continue Kaiapuni at Waimānalo Intermediate or elsewhere here in our community. If we just want to get the kids properly registered, and then we don't want them to register late just so they fall back on, they don't get good chances on certain classes that they may want. So we're looking forward to hearing actually from Po'okumu at Waimānalo.
Okay, which hasn't happened yet, yeah?
Not yet.
Okay, so the board was asked to provide a letter to get to that point that you just identified with Linnell and with representatives of Board of Education. Do you still want the boards to submit a letter calling that together, or are you satisfied with the response you've gotten so far?
I know a couple of our makua are not too happy with the answers that we've got. We spoke with our Po'okumu at our school, who said she'd defer this to Po'okumu at Waimānalo. I think we're okay for now. If anything, we have the right point of contact right now, and Lisa Martin was really helpful with that. We just, like I said, just waiting to hear back from Mrs. Hibbs and Po'okumu at Waimānalo.
Okay, okay, I appreciate that. I know our board member kind of put together a letter for us this evening to submit. I think with your support, I'm happy to have the board take that position this
that.
evening, just to document it and make sure that we can follow parallel to what you folks are experiencing so we can keep ahead of that. And if there's
Yes,
any
please.
things that we need to do at the Board of Education level, that we are prepared to do that. So if that's something you support or the Hui supports that you represent, please let us know, and we will have that later in the agenda.
Okay.
Okay,
We
Hikino.
do, yes. Kimiona, one more thing. I just wanted to make mention, if anybody in the community know of any kumu for Kaiapuni, please reach out to Hoku Akana. She's a good point of contact for that. We're looking for kumu. You can reach out to our Kaiapuni at Waimānalo, Kekula Kaiapuni at Waimānalo at Blanche Pope. Reach out to Po'okumu there, let her know that you are interested in becoming a kumu in Olelo, Hawaii.
Okay, Hikino. Mahalo nui. Thank you for that update.
Mahalo.
Next, we have Brandon Maka'awa with Nation of Hawaii, followed by Karen O'Mahony. Yes, with Puha Stream, and then we have an update to share from a letter from Community Planning and Engineering, Inc. Mahalo. The microphone don't normally go that high. Sorry.
Hello, Kako, Waimānalo. Yeah, my name is Brandon Makavava. We work at the Nation of Hawaii. We work up at the back, Puhonoa, Waimānalo. We do a lot of education in the community, and just wanted to bring to everyone's attention a discussion that we've been following at the state level, and it's about legalized gambling. And we just believe that there's not enough discussion happening in the communities, and there are forces that are pushing for legalized gambling, and our voices are not being a part of those conversations as much as I believe we should be. Last year, we were successfully defeated several bills, including one to build a casino at the stadium, one to legalize online gaming, several different ones, lottery and stuff. We defeated them all except one, which was a working group, which was going to be a discussion that the state was going to have, and it was going to be made up of people from the state, people from different departments. They didn't have position for any Hawaiian voices. Actually, when the bill first got drafted, they originally had casinos on this working group, inside the working group, and so we advocated to stop the working group because of this. We couldn't, and so what ended up happening was hello.
Sorry, can we mute real quick? Whoever is online.
Whatever what we were able to do instead was to become part of the working group. So for the past 5 or 4 months, we've been meeting every second Thursday of the month, and a lot of the information we have in this like handout and stuff. And what we want to do is actually we're going to visit all of the neighborhood boards, especially Hawaiian communities. So we're going to go to Waianae, Nanakuli, Haula, Makiki. Waimānalo is our first one, of course, is our community. Just to invite our people, if they want to have a deeper discussion, we're going to host it at our Pu'uhonua sometime next month. In June, we're going to present to the working group our findings of, what does our community say about this? We have some ideas because we've been researching this for a few years, going to different native tribes, seeing how they do gambling and all that. But, we really need to be part of the conversation, and we'd like to open up that conversation. Unfortunately, at the working group, there is no place to do testimony. So if you guys want to give testimony, you guys want to be heard, we would love to share that information to the working group in June when we have the opportunity to present to the working group. And so if anybody wants to email us and be in contact, next month we're going to be hosting a listening session at the Pu'uhonua. Hopefully you guys can attend. And then one last thing before I leave. Because of the storms and seeing how the stream management is happening all over, the counties and different states, and it's been a big mess. It's up to a lot of the community members to kind of like assess these situations, and so we are at the top of the Waimānalo watershed, and we've been doing this restoration work where we're restoring the waterways up at Pu'uhonua, Waimānalo. It happens every last Saturday of the month. There's a QR code you can scan here if you want to come join us and see some of the restoration work we're doing up there. But what we'd like to do is take the conversations downstream and begin talking with people alongside the stream to see how we can kind of work together to help manage the stream and be more kind of connected in this way, because the community is being totally relied upon for a lot of the recovery work, which is great, and our community always going to step up to do that. But that's kind of poho because we're draining our community. We need to be involved on the back end with preventative
measures that the government, you know, is a little bit too slow on. So we're starting some discussions on that we'd like to invite people to, especially if you live on the stream coming down behind Kumuhao, you know, Waimānalo stream and Puha stream. So yeah, reach out to us if you guys would like to talk story. We'd love to talk story with you folks about these issues. Thank you, board.
Mahalo, Ben. Thank you so much for that. Will you folks, Brandon, after or during those consultations or conversations, will you be needing anything from the board? Do you want the board to put together a position to support an effort, or you want just individual support at this point in time, or just testimony? How do you want this board to take that information?
For both measure or for both conversations.
Yep.
I think it's just the first conversation. We're just kind of introducing it to the community that we're going to be having these conversations. You know, just sharing information is basically a synopsis of what's been going on, what we've been doing to kind of, you know, hold that space for Hawaiians. But this is really just an invitation to a listening meeting next month. So I don't think board position is necessary yet. Maybe for the second measure about the community working together. I mean, when it's more hashed out and stuff, maybe we can come back and
Sure.
yeah.
Got it. Mahalo.
Appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Karen, with Puha Stream, do we have anyone else here in the community that wants to share a community concern or update? Just looking for time. Okay, mahalo. Karen, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kimiona and Chair Kane. My name is Karen O'Mahony, and I am here on behalf of the residents of Saddle City. We were flooded both on March 13th and March 20th, and subsequently found out that the flooding happens on the McTab military base, where there is a bridge that causes a dam and then fills the golf course with water and then floods the homes at Saddle City. We had 2 homes flooded. We had cars lost. We had lots of ongoing issues with that. After we were informed about the middle bridge, I don't know what the name of it is, on the military base. I do have a picture. I will send it to you. I'm not prepared yet to do that tonight. After we learned that that was causing the blockage that filled the golf course that then flooded the homes, I and some of the residents contacted all the politicians, everybody we could figure out at the military bases, which was not easy. And they did clean the dam, the bridge that turns into a dam. However, the construction of the bridge it's so low and so much concrete, and it has these big wings on it that prevent the water from getting around it when it's too much water for the bridge to manage, or when it turns into a dam completely. And so we were requesting that someone make a bypass so we wouldn't be flooded during this current storm. That was not something that was considered in this time frame, but and so when the rain started and it was getting up to the golf course was filled, and so we were 30 to 60 minutes from flooding the homes again in Saddle City. We made lots of phone calls. I was given an emergency number for McTab, and no one answered. No one returned my phone calls ever, not during the emergency time nor after that. So I went to the McTab gate and was trying to get some help from there, and then the rain stopped. So we were not flooded this time because the rain stopped. So I would like whatever Chair Connie is appropriate to get this on the agenda so we can follow up. We can find out if the bridge was actually cleaned before the March 13th flooding, before the March 20th flooding. We did understand that it was cleaned after the swirl of chasing around trying to figure out whose responsibility it was before this last storm. I think the community, because we don't have access, I think we should be allowed to have pictures or something of, what one of the pictures that they said everything is fine. When you look at it, it looks fine on the Mackay side, but if you zoom in, you can see, which was the report given to us at the prior storms, that the Mauka side of the water is literally 4 feet higher than the Mackay side because of this dam called a bridge. And then also I would like to know if there's actually a manned emergency number. So if we have imminent flooding, if there's an actual number that someone will answer. And I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Mahalo for your passion in trying to get this figured out. I'm not clear what you want us to do. You want it to be agendized, but what do you want the board to do? You want us to write a letter? You want us to work through Christy to get information that you just cited? What are you asking of us?
Okay, that's a good question. I don't know how to get the information that we need to actually, or what the process would be to authorize a bypass. Like we know we're about to flood, we get a bulldozer in there and we make a go around for this bridge. Or if it needs to be completely taken down and a bridge that's a sufficient height without all the problems. I don't know. How do we get from here to there? I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. I think what we'll do is we'll talk offline and get your concerns written out, and we'll draft something to be more formal that we can forward out and start that process. I think what Brandon's talking about and what we've been talking about through the last several storms with community members who have reached out to me directly is the need for us to have that discussion. We have to clean up the stream from the top to the bottom. So there's all the players that have to be involved in that conversation. And if Brandon folks are willing to host that as it appears to be, I think I'm just gonna forward folks to that conversation, including you and this concern, and bring that to you, to them. But I think for the board, we can jot those specific questions and asks and then work with Christy on trying to get answers to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, gang, we're gonna move on. I received a letter from Community Planning and Engineers dated on March 4th, 2026 that I received this evening through our mail at the Neighborhood Commission office. And this is in regards to the intention on preparing a declaration of exemption for Waimānalo Reservoir miscellaneous improvements here in Waimānalo. This is for the reservoir up in Mahailua. And essentially this entity is looking to submit an exemption letter. So I will reach out to this this particular company and request a little bit more follow-up from them, as well as the Department of Agriculture. But I will make sure that this gets submitted and posted into our Google Drive so that folks have an opportunity to take a look at it. It'll be here. It's public knowledge, so take pictures of it and blast them. The point is, and I think this has been the position of the board, EAs cannot be exempt. Yeah, we have always taken a stance that we have to update EAs, that some of these things are outdated and need to be more contributory to the current community. So we're not taking any action. I just want to bring it to attention because I received it this evening. I'll pass it around, take pictures of it, and let's communicate to them what your thoughts are. We'll agendize it for next meeting, and we'll see if we can have someone present on it. Don't worry about the dates because we received it 1 month late, so they're going to take our feedback 1 month late. We're going to move on unless there's any other community concerns.
Chair, I just have one clarifying question
Sure.
for Miley. Did she yes the letter for the neighborhood board?
I believe they're in support, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, we have not a lot of minutes and still a lot of agenda. So we're going to press on, gang, and mahalo everyone for your patience. We have Councilmember Kia'aina's office. Ka'u, thank you for being here.
Aloha nui lo kako. My name is Ka'u.
Do we need to bring it down for you? It's blocking your face. The microphone takes up her whole face. We can bring it down. There you see, my ka'i. Gotta get those eyelashes on the camera.
Okay, now I'm
Mahalo,
embarrassed.
Ka'u. Thank you.
Okay, so council member was attending the town hall meeting tonight, so she couldn't be here. So I'm here to do her report. First, council member would like to acknowledge Chair Kane for reaching out to her regarding the flooding of the Saddle City area due to the Puha stream. She was able to help facilitate a meeting between Christy and Karen along with Joe Tokuda's office She also wants to note that Representative Lisa Martin, as well as Colonel Bevan of the U.S. Marine Corps, have been actively involved in clearing Puha Stream debris. The council member is aware that there needs to be a long-term solution for this issue and is just asking for continued patience as we seek that solution. Secondly, Councilmember Kia Aina is pushing for an increase of $2 million for the grants and aid funding. She's hoping that this will be able to help an additional 10 or so organizations. She's happy to note that 808 cleanups as well as Hui Malama Okekai are slated to receive GIA funding for this fiscal year. And lastly, at last month's neighborhood board meeting, council members shared that our office was awaiting a map and petition from the city's Department of Transportation Services for the installation of street humps on Laumilo Street. So since then, we've received both of those things and we've forwarded it to Chair Kane as well as Vice Chair Kamakeo. Hello. DTS will consider the installation of 2 speed bumps between Hinalea and Manana Streets. It's contingent upon 90% concurrence of the affected area. It's about 80 or so residents. Councilmember Kia Aina is asking for support to get the necessary signatures. She's included it in our 2027 fiscal budget. If we do not move forward with the project, she will have to remove the funding from the proposed bill. And if anyone is interested in helping to acquire said signatures, please reach out to our office or Chair Kane. And that concludes my report.
Cool. Thank you so much for the update. Members, any questions online for Councilmember Kia Aina? Seeing none. Members present? Community members online? And community members present? Seeing none. Cool. I just have one follow-up for the council member, and I appreciate the council member taking time to follow the email thread on Puha. There's been a boat that has been discarded on Ahiki Street that's been there for like a year now. And I know the council member addressed it at one point, and we were working on a solution to getting it resolved. I guess the follow-up is just, how is that going? Or if there's any need for us to submit any additional Honolulu 311 things, because what the one boat has created is an okay to dump. And so there's more dumping happening along that same stretch. And so I'm just curious if there's a process or what we might be able to figure out. The second thing is I received a complaint from a community member who was trying to do good work by removing some of the debris from the beach after these last floods, took a truck out to Waimānalo dump and was rejected. I was told they needed to take it out to Kapa'a Quarry. And so if there's a reasoning there, I think there's some obvious answers is, yeah, it's not home trash. That's typically what the transfer station is for. However, maybe the city needs to consider future dropping an extra bin for that, knowing that the community will step up to Malama, that there has to be a way for us to do that safely and well. And if there's anything learned from what happened to our Waialua community members, is that we have to show up from the city too. So we can think about that and talk about that a little bit later, but I don't want it to be a discouragement for our own community to not take action if it creates a challenge for them to have to go out of their way to figure it out. Yeah, and if you can take that back, that would be great.
Thank you for your question.
Mahalo. Thank you. Got it. Is there a, sorry, there's a hand up in the chat or?
Hi, aloha, Chair.
Hi, aloha. Sanel, is that you?
Aloha. Yes, this is Sanel. Aloha, Chair. And thank you for commenting on the Ahiki dump, that boat. And I just wanted to also follow up that there is still the boat that was also left on Bell Street. And it's been over a year now as well. So seeing as how that was Esther's representative, if we could
Yeah.
follow up on that as well.
I think that's a DHHL conversation more, but Sanel, thanks for bringing that back up. We'll revisit that.
Mahalo
Definitely.
nui.
Yeah, thanks for that comment. And then I apologize, I skipped one update. Kuku, you had a community update?
Yes, I did. We have the Hui Navahine Ko'i grassroots matriarchal sovereignty group or collective. We're having
an Ahupua'a trade at the end of the month at Waimānalo District Park, Sunday, the 27th, 10 to 12 a.m. And we're focusing on la'au lapa'au to address any health needs that our community is facing due to the Kona low storms and all the different health challenges that our community is facing. Mahalo.
Mahalo, thanks, Kukui. All right, gang, we're going to go back to the agenda. Do we have anyone from Chris Lee's office? Senator Lee? Hearing none. Representative Martin's office? Hearing none. Governor Josh Green's office? Hearing none. Congress member Jill Takuda's office? Hearing none. Okay. Recognizing that, we're going to move into our board business. We have before the board approval of regular meeting minutes from Monday, March 9th. Mahalo to our vice chair for facilitating during my leave. Members, is there any recommendation to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Lily. Is there a second?
Second.
Mahalo, Ted. Members, we're going to vote by roll call, if you don't mind, so we can establish voting. When your name is called, if you're online, please have your cameras on and state your position. This is to support the regular meeting minutes as drafted for Monday, March 9th, 2026. Okay. Hearing no amendments, the meeting. Okay, so this happened the last time too. I guess the process now is if there are no amendments, we don't have to take a vote. You don't need a motion. Okay, members, if that's clear, we can revisit. If there's no draft amendments needed to the meeting minutes, there's no need for us to make a motion or take a vote. It'll be automatically approved. Okay. So hearing where we are right now, it is automatically approved. Moving on. Thank you. Okay, this is a letter that supports Mylene Uhiva's concern and the concerns of this pathway for Kekula Kaiapunio Waimānalo class of 2032. Hoku Akana was able to draft a letter for us. I think just because of time, Hoku, maybe we can't read the entirety of it, but the gist of it was just to support some of the background of conversation that was present. But I'll turn it over to Hoku for the explanation, and then we'll take a position on it after that. Hoku?
Okay, aloha kako. Pimiona, can you share it? Then at least people can see.
Sure.
And board members, I sent it direct chat to you in the WebEx, so you can click directly onto it. So a little bit background. First of all, I'm the Kaiapuni Kumu for Kailua High School. Just got there, and trying to strengthen the pipeline of Kaiapuni throughout our community. I personally see it in my personal capacity, an issue of the continuity of the Olelo Hawaii being a right of our people, and the fact that we are a one of 3 homestead bound communities. So if we cannot provide a clear pathway or support the people who are trying to build this pathway with our leveraging our resources and our influence, then we're not, I don't think it's being adequately supported. Definitely the other offices like OHE within the DOE have their kuleana, but I do dare say that as a community, if we show our ongoing support that this pipeline should be strengthened from a broader perspective, where and I am a DOE teacher now, so where the school cannot just stay within its realm, but they know that they have eyes on them from the larger community, then there might be more accountability in that way, and it'll help these families because when they get to this point, a lot of ohana just trusts that there's a system and they're trusting that there's a pathway. But if nobody's thinking about the larger connectivity, continuity of our kids, if you think of it from a teacher perspective, a kid has to get settled into their school from K to 6, and they get ma'a to that environment. And then they have to transition to 7th grade and have a whole new environment. On top of that, Kaiapuni is a school within a school for most part, because we don't have entire ecosystems of Olelo Hawaii. So it makes it more challenging. And then they have to transition again to 9th grade and find themselves in a new school, which for those of us who were, born and raised there, that's what we've all had to go through. But if we truly are supporting the continuity of Olelo Hawaii to become the prime language of our Aina, then we should be thinking about it better, providing a continuous pathway, the same way that there's automatic pathway for English. Nobody has to worry about that. So anyways, this letter, I just drafted it up, and it was the concerns that was shared by the Ohana when they came to Kailua to check out what we had to offer, as well as when they came to the meeting last month to share their concerns. This is the second 6th grade class to matriculate out of Blanche Pope, and the 5th grade is coming up right behind them. And I mean, I can already see it. If nobody's tracking it, then they're gonna be lost in the wind too. It's just too difficult, and parents don't usually know how to navigate or leverage any of it. So I feel like the letter from us, and if there's any questions from the board or the community that's watching, I think the letter would help them to at least formalize it and document it that we are behind them. And it'll pull other people in, like having our reps have eyes on it too. Mahalo.
Hoku mahalo for your guidance and your leadership on this. Members, everyone has a copy of the letter. Again, the task was really just to supplement what was already asked, and looks like there's already action, but I think it's still within the board's kuleana to kokua and kind of kako'o that effort. So the letter has been drafted by Hoku. It is before the board this evening for action. Is there a motion of action this evening?
Yeah, it's quick.
Kuike?
I move that we approve this letter so we can have discussion on the letter.
Mahalo. Noted. Kuike with the motion to approve. Members, is there a second?
Second,
Sorry, who was that?
Makaila.
Oh, Kalamai. Thank you. Thanks, Lily. Members, it's been moved and seconded. We're in discussion. Any comments or discussion? Kuike, you had a discussion point?
Yeah, mahalo, Chair, for the opportunity to speak. I have a few editorial comments on this letter.
Sure.
First of all, I just want to commend Board Member Akana for drafting this letter for us. It's a super strong letter. I would just want to add some notes, and we can take it out. We can take it this evening, or we can just continue on as is. First of all, I support it the way it is. I would just recommend that we outline or we identify specifically the amount of students that would be impacted, or the average amount of students that would be impacted every year. There is data floating around from last year of the amount of students that were impacted, and then we know the amount of students enrolled this year. Yeah, so that would just be my first recommendation. The
Okay, I'm
second
going to
recommend-
stop you right there, Ku, if I
Mahalo.
can. Members, there's a comment to make an amendment to include the data as so requested. Is there a motion to support?
Support.
Mahalo. Are there any objections to that amendment, members? Any members online with objections to that amendment to include data specific? Okay, hearing none. Do you need us to take a full vote on that? No, just no. Okay. So we'll go ahead and push that amendment through. Ku, your second amendment?
My second amendment would be to include a timeline expectation of response from the department, and that we make it an urgent issue, and then put in the letter, right, that the expectation of response from our community of the department is this academic year, so 26-27, or at least by this upcoming academic year. That way, it's not just an open letter,
Copy. So the amendment is to recommend a timeline referencing this current time, current school year, academic school year. Did I capture that correctly?
Kako, yes.
Okay. Members, is there a motion to approve that amendment?
Motion
I
to
move.
approve.
Okay, mahalo, Lily. Thank you. Members, is there anyone in objection to that amendment to include a timeline referencing this current calendar year? Hearing none. Mahalo nui. Ku, go back to you.
Yes, mahalo, Chair. My third point that I'd like to raise is, the point of accountability. I know that we reference Olelo Hawaii as an official language, but I want to get more surgical, or I would recommend that we get more surgical with this, right? And I can give you an example. Something like, as Hawaiian is an official language of the state of Hawaii, ensuring continuity in Olelo Hawaii education is a public responsibility. That way we frame it as an obligation by the State Department and not as a favor.
Understood? Heard? Is there a motion to approve that amendment, members?
Akauko'a that Moyata.
Okay, mahalo moyata. Members, anyone in disagreement on that? Anyone in opposition of that? Hearing none. Okay, noted. Mahalo nui. Cool, back to you.
Yeah, mahalo. I just have a few more points that I'd like to elevate. The next one is I want to frame the policy. So to elevate the consequence and then stronger framing, because what the community is seeking is an establishment of a pipeline from our lower level kula to our kie. Now, that's an obligation on the state, but there is no consequence if they don't fulfill that obligation. So I'd like to shine light and make that a little bit brighter.
Is there a
Uh,
specific consequence or language that you can reference?
Shoots, yeah. Let me just give you an example. We could say something along the lines of, without intervention, this gap risk collapsing the emergent pipeline in the region and eroding years of public investment in language and revitalization.
Noted. Got it. Members, is there any motion to support?
Support.
Thank you very much. Who is that?
Makaila.
Gosh. Thank you, Lily. Members, anyone in opposition of that inclusion of language to recognize the detriment if not fulfilled? Mahalo nui. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Cool, back to you.
Yeah, mahalo, Chair, again. I just have a few other points, but understanding it's 9:36, I want to just open the floor for discussion to the other members. Some of my other points that I was looking at is not as significant to me. So I'd like to yield the time back to you.
Noted. Mahalo nui for your contributions. Members, we're in discussion. Any other discussions? Hearing none. So with the amendments currently made, we'll make the language amendments to the document as committed to this evening by all members present this evening. And then from there, we will go ahead and consider if there are any additional things that need to happen from the board, we definitely can bring it back. So I know, Maile, are you still online?
I'm here, aloha.
Based on what you've heard and what you've seen in draft with amendments, are there any other things that you would recommend our consideration for this evening?
I agree with Kuike and Hoku. This letter is beautiful. I feel like this is a great start to, but the timeline is huge because our KKR in a few months will be headed to intermediate. So yes.
Understood. Noted. Any other members of the public with comment on this particular action? Hearing none. If there's no other discussion, Ku, are you going to maintain your comments or you want to go forward?
Chair, can you repeat that again?
Are you going to maintain with just the comments and amendments you provided, or do you want to push forward for any additional?
Sorry, I can't hear. Can you say that again, Chair?
Do you have anything else to add?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Sorry, simple language.
Simple stuff. Okay, noted. So the language amendments will be documented, and then I'll work with Hoku to get the language out as drafted. So we'll close discussion. Members, the amended draft that's before us, is there is there a position to approve?
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Lily?
Yep.
Mahalo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll take Lulu because she was right next to me. Lulu, with the second motion to approve. Members, it's been moved and seconded, drafted with amendments. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any objections? Please make yourself known at this time. Hearing none. Any abstentions? Please make yourself known at this time. Hearing none. So with the present of 12 members total, this passes with 12 support, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Mahalo nui for the work on this. Hoku and I will work on getting this distributed with the support of all of your voices. Seeing we are at 9:40 members, I'm going to ask that we defer. But before we do so on the last two items, I just want to ask, where are we on item C? Is there been any additional information provided to anybody from DHHL, or do we need to take some space to, in the future, receive or request information? Does anyone have any update on this dog-friendly park proposal? The question came before us that we wanted to make sure DHHL beneficiaries and the Native Hawaiian community were consulted. So I just want to make sure, was any actions taken by anyone, or do we need to do so as a board? Anyone have any updates? Hearing none. Okay, so we will take a look. It sounds like this has been on the agenda for some time, and if we're not maikai to take a position, we need to do something about it. So maybe at the next meeting, we just have to draft a letter and submit it to the HHL and have them do the due diligence of research. But for this evening, I'm going to ask that we defer that item. Any objections to that? Hearing none. The position on resolution supporting the improvement of Waimānalo affordable apartments. This was drafted by Mr. Hunt. There was some amendments made by Member Akana. Were folks able to receive the amendments, or do folks need time to review that? This particular supporting resolution support was so that in the future, if they do need to go through the process, they don't have to come to the board every single time to update the board. I do want to note that I do have a concern about that, but if you guys have already made a position, I'm happy to go with what the board supports. But are we progressed in that? Has everyone read the amendments that Hoku provided? Okay. We didn't discuss. Okay, can we prepare for that for next meeting so that we can take a position on it and clear up the agenda? So if you need the amendments to that position, please let me know so that we can get that to you for distribution, and then we can take a position on that. I appreciate your guys' time and energy there. So without objection, I would like to defer this to our May meeting. Any objections? Okay, thank you so much. Members, we are at 9:42, brings us to the closing of our meeting. And mahalo everybody for your patience, time, and energy and support. The Neighborhood Commission Office announcements. Melissa, you have any announcements? None. She does have some swag bag stuff for many of our members. So we need to get you guys these bags. You need to coordinate with me to get these bags. They are sitting in my closet and in Melissa's car, and they need to be distributed. So do your due diligence and reach out to me, please. But you know what I'll do is I'll just send a text message for the ones that I have and the ones I received this evening, and then we can coordinate drop off. That would be helpful. Next meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 11th, 2026 at 7 p.m. here at the Waimānalo Library. The 2026 Olelo broadcast schedule is broadcasted on Olelo Channel 49 on the fourth Monday of the month at 9 p.m. and on the first and third Saturdays of the month at 3 p.m. With that being said, and seeing no other items before this board, I'm going to ask for a closing pule from a volunteer, and then we will adjourn. Any volunteers to close us in pule this evening?
I volunteer.
Mahalo nui, thank you.
Okay. E ho'omalu kākou. E kia kua mana loa me na aumakua po mahalo nui ia ka ākuakua ana mai o kākou. Mahalo nui I ka po'e I hele mai ai no keia kuka ko'i e pili ana ia Waimānalo. E alaka'i ia kākou mana ano hana like ole e pono ai no ka holomua ana I keia mau mea apau a mākou I hapai ai e ho'opākele pū ma nā ano hana, ma nā ano kuleana kekahi, a e mālama mau iā kākou I ko kākou hele ana aku a mai nā ino a pau e like me nā kona lō. Ano leila ke hapai nei wau I kea leo pule me ka ha'a a me ka mana olana e ko aku ana keia mau pahu hopu ia ʻoe ke kua I nā aumakua o ka pō a e maikaʻi ana nā mea apau no ka pono o ka Hawaiʻi a no ka pono o Waimānalo a ke akua pū a nā aumakua pū a hui hou kākou. Amene.
Mahalo nui, gang. Thank you guys so much for your time. This meeting is adjourned at 9:45 p.m. Be safe, be well. We'll see you folks in the future. Ahui o.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.